I'm not going to say my real name because I'm going to go onto YouTube, so, you know. Yeah. Please subscribe to my channel if you're going to see this video because, you know, please. So, I'm going to do a Japanese internment camp. I don't want this to be over 20 minutes, and I definitely don't. I want it to be 10 minutes max if I can. So I'm gonna walk through this a little quick. Here's a cafeteria where you would eat stuff. There's a sewer water furnace. I have nothing in the furnaces. Crafting tables, to put sandwiches together and eat them. I'll get to the baseball field last. Here are some houses. And in the houses they had cotton beds, a heating stove, and very little privacy. Very little privacy in beds part I have, but these would be like luxury beds for them because they're not made out of cotton. But they don't have the heater. And exact same for 5. I have 6 beds in each, so that means 30 Japanese can be in this camp. That doesn't even exist in the world. Team jerseys for the baseball, red and blue. I have baseball bats because in this texture pack, wooden swords look like baseball bats, and baseballs look like snowballs. Steak looks like, or no, not steak, looks like steak. Steak symbolizes that they ate meat at the Japanese internment camp. The apple symbolizes fruit and vegetables they ate, and the pufferfish and the smoked salmon symbolize that, they had sushi. There we go. And that's that. Here is the store. I have hose for gardening, flowers to plant, paintings, because, they could buy those stuff, and books, because who doesn't want to read books? I mean, if you can't read, then I agree, but I can read, so I'd want to read books. Here's the store guy, or whatever you want to call him. Manager, or whatever. The watchtowers, I have 4 of them, one at each corner of the camp. They're 13 blocks high, including these 2, with a pillar of glowstone in the middle, and it can reach all the way down to here. And I put these here in case anyone tried to escape. Here's the baseball field I made with courts here, quartz blocks, grass here, and the gate or whatever you want to call it. The fence I put in so people wouldn't fall off. And I have 3 rows of 6. So that would make 36, and yes, I did say there were 30 people in the camp, but, there might always be that guy who's on break, that guard who's on break, and they want to see the game. So, these rods you see, these rods are here in case anyone would try to escape. They would fall on them, get injured, be dying, bleeding, severely hurt, or slowed down from their clothes catching on it. And there's a lot of them around the watchtowers in case anyone sneaked out of the watchtowers and stuff. So, here would be some, they might land on it. And here they might land on it. Unless your aiming is perfect, then you really can't do it. It would be really hard to do it, actually, though. But you could do it. I'm done with the tour now. History. World War II started in 1941 because of the attack on Pearl Harbor. But the Japanese were excluded from society long before the attack. For 80 entire years, Chinese and Japanese have faced discrimination from the entire nation. Signs would be put up saying no attendance to Chinamen or Japanese men. 80 years is the lifespan of an average person's life. That means someone could have been born when discrimination started, and the same person could have died when it ended. And why does Pearl Harbor have anything to do with this, you ask? Well, because of the attack of Pearl Harbor, people were put in these Japanese internment camps under the thought of disloyalty in America. And people were left with only 4 days to pack up their belongings, close down their stores, and everything for small amounts of money. Even in the Japanese internment camps, they were able to make schools, newspapers, farms, and even under the face of discrimination, some Chinese and Japanese fought in the war, but not all did. Only 25%, or 1/4, of the entire Japanese Americans, and 2/3 of the Japanese were Japanese Americans. In a family with an only child, that would mean either both parents or a parent. This went on for 3 years, and only 35% of the people thought that they should go back to their homes after the war. So, when the war ended in 1944, the alternates or something, Japanese Americans were allowed to go back. But when they did go back, their houses were looted, or either way. They were left poor with not a place to stay. And it wasn't until 44 years later, in 1988, when Donald J. Reagan, or Donald Ray Reagan, I just don't know his name right now, saved these Japanese Americans with this speech. It was kind of long to remember, so I had to write it down. Quote, "No payment can make up for those lost years. So what is most important in this bill has less to do with property than with honor. For here we have met a wrong. Here we reaffirm our commitment as a nation to equal justice under the law." Those words saved these Japanese, put them back in their homes, and helped the Japanese with their life being normal again. So, challenges I had. Challenges I had was making each watchtower exactly like the last one. And I mean pitch perfect, exactly. And that was hard, but I did it. And another challenge I had was the baseball field. You could think, oh wow, this couldn't be too hard. So at the beginning, I had it here. Had this here. So, that to that, there to there. And there to there. This was too long, so then I made it to here. And I kept it like that. But then I made that one longer, and it still didn't look like a rhombus, a square, or whatever you want to call it, a diamond. But then I took one off on this side. Then finally, with two parallel sides, it was a square, rhombus, diamond, whatever you want to call it. It's actually relatively small, but I had a limited amount of space. And here are the bleachers, you know. So I didn't have a problem with that. And another problem I had was making the houses each like the other one. And that was very hard. I actually had a lot of things that I had challenges with. Making as many as I could here around the edges of the Japanese internment camp, and making the barbed wire. The barbed wire I used as cobwebs because with this texture pack they look like barbed wire with the fence or iron bars. And something I would do next time would be I would make my camp bigger so I can add a farm, a church, a newspaper stand, and maybe even a school and maybe even a military training camp, you know, for the Japanese that fought in the war. They were the ones that were trained. Thank you for looking at my Japanese internment camp, and please subscribe. Thanks for watching.